the whole beginning when you started in the Navy. Why did you join the Navy, or did you not join? Did you get called?
No, I joined the Marines, but they wouldn't take me for the following day, and the Navy would take me immediately, so I went to the Navy. Same physical, so they said, you go today? Yep. They took me today then.
So you were anxious.
I was anxious. I wanted to get out of school.
And what were you thinking about? Why did you join? Why did you want to join?
Well, everybody in World War II has a different mentality. They want to serve their country.
Okay, so then you went down and you joined the Navy. What happened next? Where did you go for basic training?
Sampson, New York, February the 2nd, 44.
Okay, so then where did you went to basic training. What happened next? Where did you ship out from?
Norfolk, Virginia,
And what ship was that?
Ticonderoga.
Where did you join up with the Ticonderoga? Where was that based at the time? Because that was a pretty new ship, right?
Yeah, it was commissioned at that. It was actually commissioned May the 8th in 1944. So it was a new ship.
So when did you get on board? What was your date?
Well, they took us on earlier than that, but that's when we sailed, was May the 8th in 44.
So you were on a brand new ship.
Yep. Yes.
So you went through the Panama Canal, is that right?
Yep. But they had to lift the mounts out because those big ships can't fit through the Panama Canal. They had to take the 5-inch mounts off and the 40 millimeters because they hung over the side. So they had to dismantle them and put them on the hangar deck, and then you go through and you put them back together when you get out of the canal.
So where did you, when you set sail from the Panama Canal, what was the next stop?
San Diego,
San Diego?
and from there to Bremerton.
Did you do anything in San Diego?
No, just got different ammunitions, and then you went to Bremerton and
Were you picking up aircraft?
aircraft, correct.
What did you do in Bremerton? That's in Washington.
Well, that was our home port. Whenever we come back to the States, after you'd be gone for 8, 9 months, you'd always come back to Bremerton to resupply, and that was our home port, Bremerton, Washington.
So you were on the ship for 8 months at a time?
Oh God, yes, we didn't see land sometime for 8 months.
Wow.
They just give you fuel and stores at sea.
So in Bremerton, how long were you there?
You would just be there possibly 2 weeks, and then you're back out again.
And you set sail for
For back out to Pacific.
towards Hawaii?
Hawaii first. You always had to stop at Hawaii.
Did the aircraft carrier go by itself, or was it escorted by other ships?
You'd always be with a couple of destroyers, but you'd always generally, after Hawaii, you'd pick up more of an escort.
Okay, but leaving Bremerton because
You didn't. You could be alone.
you'd be alone.
But that's a question. It was dangerous traveling out there.
Well, not between Hawaii and United States, but from Hawaii on, then you have to pick up more escorts.
Was there any talk of submarines, Japanese submarines, in that area?
No, not really. Not really.
Not till you got to the real war zone.
Yeah.
What was that like when you got to the real war zone? Describe for us a little bit what you were doing on ship day to day.
Day to day, it was just you'd have your duties as a work in a boiler room, and you work with like a water tender be on a second level, watching the water the level in the boilers to make sure it's the proper level. So it wouldn't be too much water or not enough water, or else you would if you need it down below, you would burners. You have to keep a certain pressure, like 600 pounds pressure on those, and you can't deviate from that. So you'd have to cut out burners, put burners in, depending on the speed of the ship, how much steam they would need to work the propulsion.
That's a lot of responsibility for a 17-year-old.
No, it was mostly it was when you had to transfer the oil into different tanks, and you'd done that 3 or 4 levels above, and you had to know just by memory, what tanks, what valves to hydraulically open and close valves to pump them into your service tanks at the boilers.
When you were on the ship, we read about a typhoon, or there was real bad weather at some point. Were you on the ship then?
We were on the ship there. That was when the Japanese were on Luzon, and after the war, we found this. I read this where they couldn't even register those wind velocities. They were so strong. 3 destroyers alongside of us turned upside down from the, well, a carrier 65 foot high for the flight deck. I was on the flight deck looking up. We'd go in a swell, I'd see water up there and water up there going through it. The Washington was on our, just by it. The only thing when the Washington, New Jersey battle wagons would hit those waves, all you see was not the mounts, the 2 tiers of mounts, 16 inches. The water would be over both of those mounts, and all you see was a stack. That's all in this typhoon.
Did the Navy have any indication that there was going to be stormy weather?
No, because the Japanese wouldn't tell us. There's a joke.
That's a good one. That's a good one.
We're all like, no kidding.
And you know, Halsey, they wanted to court-martial Halsey because of that storm, because we couldn't get out of it. And then he just, we were 2 days in that damn storm, darn storm.
Where were you
Me?
during the storm?
Oh, mostly down, but all over, up and down.
I imagine a few sailors got sick.
Oh yeah, you didn't, it was just too, it was so violent you didn't worry about getting sick.
Did they have to call off meals and things like that?
Oh, you couldn't eat, because if you ate, the table would be sliding across. You didn't do that.
How long did it last?
2 days. Oh, it lasted a long time, but we were in it 2 days, 15th and 16th of December.
What do you first remember? What was it, like a day like any day when the day started?
Nothing, it was like, it was exactly 12:05, January the 21st, 1945. I had just stepped down from the hangar deck. When the first plane came through the flight deck, hangar deck, and what happened why everybody got killed on the hangar deck is because all the shutters were down. So you got killed by concussion too, because the shutters were down. So you just step down here, you step down there, and every time you open up, there's a ball of fire, gasoline, and you got to work yourself down to you have general quarters, and mine was down below on the 7th deck in a pumping room, and that's where I had to go. But that was that situation.
So what was the first thing you heard or saw?
Fire. But you just, you had I remember you opening up like these, you have hatches, you open them up and just fire, so you shut those. And then when you go down, and you went down through like the magazines, like the 5th and 6th deck, then they have to flood them because of the fire. So as you're going in, they flood the decks and flood you in. So they flood you, you're flooded in.
Were you by yourself?
Yep.
Did people know what was going on the ship? Did people know? Were they saying there's been a plane?
I had no contact with anyone. No one. On the phones, though, remember, I was, to be funny, they said there was like, we're in between Formosa and Luzon. And that there was, naturally, the fleet left us because we're smoking and drawing too much attention. So I remembered that there was 250 bombers coming from Luzon. And I said to myself, oh, shit. That's all I said. That was it.
So you hold out somewhere? You like how many decks below? Did you
I was
go?
on the 7th deck,
The 7th deck?
and naturally you're flooded in, you can't get out.
Right.
And you wait 3 days, and they pump
But
the,
you
they
did
pump
get
the
some
water
sort
out.
of communication with someone?
Yeah, I'm in communications.
So they knew you were down there?
Yep.
But there's nothing they could have done?
But they told me when the water was pumped out. So
Okay, so they just told you to hang on?
strange that they even found out was even there.
So you saw flames, you didn't know a plane had crashed on the deck, right?
Oh yes, you knew that. But the point is, you had nowhere to go with so much gasoline and burning. No one could realize how much
Could you smell
fire there is with gasoline.
it? Could you smell the fumes and everything?
I don't remember smelling it. I just remember I had to keep shutting the doors because of the flames.
Yeah.
I guess you don't think of smelling.
So when you got on top, what was it like up there with all the devastation?
It was like the hangar deck's is like a burnt out barn, and
How about the aircraft that you get on?
oh, there was very few aircraft because the planes that had taken off for near the combat area, they couldn't land. So the planes that were there were pushed over the side because they were burning. So there was very few aircraft aboard that ship.
Well, the ones that were in there, did they have to scuttle them in the water?
Oh yes, they had to tip them when they were burning. They'd be listing. They'd push them off the side.
Now, was the ship disabled then, unready for combat?
It was-
What did it have to do? What did you?
No, the boiler rooms were never touched, so we always had good steam.
You said the power.
Yep, good power.
So where did it head after this? Where did you continue?
Oh, we had to go back to Pearl Harbor.
Back to
Pearl Harbor, and then we had to go back to Bremerton to get repaired.
And I guess from historical perspective, what was actually happening on that ship above? What do you know that was happening? Because I guess one plane came in or two, or can
No.
you give us a
Well, first of
background?
all, one plane comes in to hangar deck, like I said, blue. Then a second plane come into the island, and naturally you kill a lot of officers because that's where they're at. And you have a 5-inch mount that it hits in there and it turns upside down. But I was lucky because 2 weeks prior to that, I was assigned to, on that same spot, to give plane identification. Then they put me down below at the pumps. So I was lucky that they put me with the pumps.
And so the first plane came in and hit,
Through the hangar deck and into the flight deck. And from the flight deck, through the flight deck, into the hangar deck. And that's when it blew. Then the second kamikaze came into the island and hit that naturally and destroyed the island. That's where the captain was.
What is an island?
That's the island, that's the superstructure on a carrier, the part that sticks up, that has your 2 tiers of 5-inch guns, and then the command center.
Okay.
That's the island.
Is that the bridge? Is the bridge?
That's the
located on
bridge,
island?
that's the bridge. Correct.
So while 1 and 2 hit, what else is happening in the sky over the ship?
A lot of planes in action, just normal, everyday chaos.
Did any of the kamikazes hit any other escort ships?
I honestly don't know. I have no idea.
And so how long were you down below, basically fighting?
Oh, no, we were just, you were flooded in a couple of days.
Did you have food or anything?
No, it was hard to sleep at the grates.
No water either, I take it?
No.
Well, anyway, the ship then headed for Bremerton, and how long did it take to get there?
I'd say we were there about 3 weeks to get repaired.
How
So we had liberty then to go home.
Did you go home?
Yep. But they repaired the ship.
What happened when you came home? I guess everybody here couldn't
No.
believe it.
Not really. I walked. I don't think nobody picked me up in Buffalo. I think I walked 7, 8 miles by myself to home. There's no bus service or anything, so you walk home. Fred knows how it is. Not too emotional. You get home and that's it.
Was your family in Orchard Park at the time?
Yes,
And you walked
Orchard
all
Park.
the way to Orchard Park?
Pardon?
You walked to Orchard Park?
Yeah, I walked to Orchard Park. That's
From
what,
where?
from Buffalo.
That's more than 7 or 8 miles.
Is it? Well,
Yeah, that's definitely.
I didn't know, but there's
Yeah.
no bus services at night. I walked
Did
it.
your family know you were coming?
I don't know.
You don't remember?
I don't.
No,
I really don't remember.
So what happened after, I guess then you went back on the ship, what was the ship's mission next after that?
Oh, you leave and you go back out to and see
Where you
more
came from?
action. Yeah.